At 17, this young woman crossed a line no one saw coming. Behind her perfect face and quiet stares lies a double life that will eventually shatter her. But what drives this young woman to risk everything? And when the facade finally cracks, who is left to pick up the pieces? This is not just a story about beauty, it's a fall into the shadows beneath it. This is the recap of the movie, Young and Beautiful. A movie that shows that nothing is as innocent as it seems. The story opens on a sunny beach where teenage girl Isabelle is seen sunbathing alone. But while she enjoys the summer rays, her family is anxiously searching for her, unaware of her whereabouts. Eventually, her younger brother Victor finds her and brings news that her boyfriend, Felix, had shown up at their house looking for her. Isabelle, wanting to avoid her mother's inevitable fury, quickly warns Victor to keep this encounter a secret. But her plans are undone when they return home. Her mother, who is already aware of Felix's visit, calls Isabelle out for a talk. To Isabelle's surprise, her mother doesn't scold her. Instead, she approves of Felix and even suggests inviting him over for dinner. But Isabelle, unimpressed by Felix and considering him below her standards, brushes off the idea, admitting she doesn't take him seriously. The next day, Isabelle is back at the beach with Victor when Felix walks by and invites her to a party. Eager to escape her family and have some fun, Isabelle persuades Victor to help cover for her that evening. That night, while Victor distracts their family, Isabelle sneaks out to meet Felix. They enjoy each other's company at the party, share ice cream, and eventually slip away to the beach. Under the quiet sky, Felix makes his move, and Isabelle willingly shares an intimate moment with him. Later on that night, Felix walks her home. Back in her room, Victor was curious and asked her about the night and whether she did anything with Felix. However, Isabelle dismisses his questions coldly, telling him to go to bed. Days later, it was Isabelle's 17th birthday, and as her family celebrates, they notice that Felix isn't invited. This decision confirms what everyone had suspected, that she never truly cared for him. As their summer vacation ends, the family heads back home. On the road, Isabelle spots Felix riding his bike, but she ignores him completely, making it clear that their connection meant nothing more than fleeting summer fun. But once back home, Isabelle's life takes a much darker turn. In secret, she starts working as an escort, meeting older men in hotel rooms in exchange for money. One evening, she meets a man named George. He compliments her youth and beauty before they engage in their transactional encounter. This meeting marks the beginning of Isabelle's deep descent as she continues to juggle her double life. At school, while the class discusses a poem about summer and love, Isabelle offers a chilling interpretation. To her, the poem mirrors her own life, which was an existence filled with sadness and an endless, fruitless search for real love. Her encounters grow more dangerous, and in one meeting, a businessman hires her but doesn't touch her. Instead, he uses her presence for his own satisfaction and then refuses to pay the full fee. When Isabelle demands the remaining money, he belittles her, saying she isn't worth it. Worse, he threatens to expose her secret life to her mother, leaving Isabelle cornered and frustrated. Even after this, Isabelle continues her business, and one day, she is asked by a man to pleasure him inside his car as they eventually share an intimate moment together before he drops her off. Although her stepfather notices that Isabelle now spends much time in the bathroom in recent days, his wife played it off as just a usual routine for young girls. One day, her mother invites her to the theater, but Isabelle declines the offer. However, when her mother insists that she ought to be enjoying life at her young age, Isabelle reluctantly agrees to go with her. At the theater, Isabelle notices George with another girl. During the movie break, Isabelle follows the two and finds them talking in a corner of the room. She observes them from a distance but says nothing. Meanwhile, she also sees her own mother flirting with a family friend. As the movie resumed, Isabelle quietly returns to her seat but soon receives a message from George, confirming their next meeting. Their secret encounters become more frequent, with Isabelle growing more attached to him. One day, she confronts George about the girl at the theater. So, he explains that she is his estranged daughter, with whom he had not spoken in years. However, he is now trying to repair their relationship. Despite this revelation, the relationship between him and Isabelle continues. But then, one night, everything goes out of control. As Isabelle and George meet as usual for their secret affair, tragedy strikes. In the middle of their intimate affair, George suddenly stops breathing, and within seconds, he dies from a heart attack. Isabelle was panicked as she thought about her options. When she decides to escape, she stumbles upon George's belongings, and among them, a bottle of stamina-enhancing pills. That's when it hits her that George didn't just die, but that he had overdosed. Although Isabelle escapes, the police are called in, and soon, their investigation leads straight back to Isabelle. They dig deeper and uncover a secret life that even her own mother doesn't know exists. When officers confront her mother, they drop a bombshell and show her photographic evidence showing Isabelle entering hotels with various men. Her mother is crushed, unable to deny the truth staring back at her. Legally, The police explain Isabelle, being a minor, can't be punished as a criminal. Rather, she will be categorized as a victim. But the damage has already been done. The officers then follow the mother back home, where they search Isabelle's laptop. What they find leaves no doubt as they see online records of arranged meetings, client details, and stashes of hidden cash. Her mother's world is shattered. The daughter she thought she knew has been living a double life, right under her roof. Later that night, Isabelle returns home, only to be met by her mother's rage. Overwhelmed and broken, her mother lashes out, demanding answers. But Isabelle says nothing. She knows no explanation will ever be enough. The following day, Isabelle walks into the police station. She's ready to tell everything. She confesses how it had all begun with one proposition from a man that led her down a dark, transactional path she couldn't escape. At first, she was disgusted by what she was doing. But as time passed, she gave in, even going so far as to buy a second phone to keep her secret safe. The officer listens, calm but serious, and in the end she warns her that if she continues down this road, there may be no way back. But what stings Isabelle even more is what happens at home. Her mother decides to donate all the money Isabelle earned, every last dollar, to charity. Isabelle is blindsided. In her mind, it wasn't just money, it was her survival and it was for her to control. Now, stripped of even that, a great resentment towards her mother starts to brew inside her. Soon after, her mother drags her to therapy, hoping to fix what's broken. There, their family problem eventually spills into the open. Her mother insists Isabelle lacked for nothing at home, trying to paint a picture of a perfect home. But the therapist sees through it. So, he points out that legally, Isabelle has rights over her own earnings, and that was a subtle but sharp rebuke to the mother's control. For Isabelle, it feels like a rare, tiny victory. Days later, a family friend asks her to babysit. Grateful for a break, Isabelle agrees. But when the couple returns and the husband offers to drive her home, his wife steps in. It's an unspoken judgment and a quiet reminder that no one has forgotten who Isabelle really is. Back at home, Isabelle talked with her stepfather, as they joked around, and she told him that she is amused by his tired appearance. He, however, tries to act as a peacemaker and explains that her mother was distressed and then urges Isabelle to see her side of things. He dismissed Isabelle's actions as reckless teenage behavior, a phase that had hurt those around her. But Isabelle wasn't interested in making peace. Instead, she deliberately acted in a way that unsettled him as she flirted with him. Her mother, who saw this gesture from around the corner, was horrified by her daughter's behavior. She returned to her bedroom and wondered where she had gone so totally wrong with her daughter. During her next therapy session, the reason for Isabelle's abrupt change of heart came to light. George had been a different man compared to others. He was kind, gentle, and his presence made her feel safe. When she had seen him dying in the hotel room, something inside her had shifted. She had advised herself that she could no longer continue down the same path, and the work became unbearable. Meanwhile, back at school, Isabelle tries to comfort her friend who has just had a breakup. To cheer her up, they decided to go to a party that night. At the party, Isabelle feels uncomfortable and she decides to step outside for air. There, she ran into Alex, one of her classmates who had always had a crush on her. As they talked, Alex hesitantly asked for a kiss. Isabelle thought about it for a short moment before agreeing. They finally returned to the party with their connection growing amidst the flashing lights and loud music. Their conversation stretched into the night as they wandered through the quiet city streets, discovering something new between themselves. Months later, Isabelle's life shifts yet again. Her relationship with Alex had grown cold, and the spark they once shared has now faded. Always clear-eyed about her feelings, Isabelle chose to end things, admitting that the thrill was gone. But as one chapter closed, another from her past resurfaced. On her old phone, buried among forgotten messages, was one from George's wife. The woman requested a meeting, and Isabelle agreed to see her, and she returned to the same hotel where she had been meeting with George. But instead of confrontation, their meeting was calm, and she eventually discovers that George's wife wasn't there for revenge. She wanted understanding. Isabelle apologized, expecting anger, but what she received was forgiveness. The woman revealed a painful truth that George had been terminally ill, and their time together had been his peaceful escape before the end. With a bittersweet smile, she confessed that Isabelle reminded her of her younger self and a reflection of her lost youth and beauty. Then, before leaving, she made a final request, to see the room where George had spent his last moments. Isabelle led her there, and in a quiet gesture, the woman asked Isabelle to lie beside her. She wanted to recreate the comfort George once found. As Isabelle closed her eyes, she dozed off. When she awoke, the woman was gone, leaving behind only silence and a haunting memory that would stay with Isabelle forever. In the end, the mask falls off Isabelle's face, but the scars remain. What began as a search for freedom became a mirror that reflected loneliness, desire, and the quiet ache of growing up too soon. If you enjoyed this recap, consider hitting that subscribe button and leave a comment for us. Until our next recap, stay safe.